This is a message to all my supporters of this podcast. I'm introducing a new supporters program. You can contribute a small amount as a one-off payment to show your love for this podcast. Thank you in advance for all your contributions. I just wanted to let you know before we start the podcast that I am doing an online podcast course, how to be able to create, get your guests, scale it and monetize it. So please do go to abmpodcastcourse.co.uk and go into the contact us bit. I'm looking for new people to be able to be a podcast creator and really to be able to develop their skills and knowledge into a podcast. So as I said, go to abmpodcastcourse.co.uk and sign up. Thanks.
Hi everyone, this is Mark Hayward from the Absolute Business Mindset podcast and YouTube channel. Today is Mindset Monday, and today we're going to talk about the win-win scenario. So before we start talking about the win-win scenario, what I'm going to say is that a lot of people that are involved in sport or enjoy watching sport often think that there is always winners and losers. I am going to completely trash this idea. In a sport, you either win the game, you lose the game, or you draw the game. In business, you can have win-win scenarios. So win-win scenarios, I think, is where you gain advantage from a deal, and so does your client or even competitor in some cases. So I want to talk about, first of all, the win-win scenario in the career focus. So for me, I always thought, well, if I'm succeeding, that means someone else is not succeeding. But actually, in a lot of cases, if you're on a career, the promotion bands, sometimes you're not pitted against each other. Sometimes it's open that you can both be successful and you can both enjoy success and get those promotions and get those deals done. So I think it's important for people you need to understand if you're on the same grade, you maybe don't share so much with them that you would necessarily with maybe somebody else. But you should not think that if I don't get promoted, they will get promoted or vice versa. Because in lots of times in career, now I know we're going through some troubled times and we're in a recession at the moment and it's hitting everyone hard and people are getting pitted against each other. But I would say that you should try to keep the mentality that your success is not necessarily against someone else's. Someone else has to lose for that. To take that a step further, in the entrepreneurial world, in the business owner world, there are often win-win scenarios in going into JVs, for example, or finding an investor. There are win-win scenarios, and these are the ones in business that you need to try and be able to develop and get them part of your business models and your framework for your business. Because even when it comes in, you can learn so much from your competitors. The fact that there is a competitor means that there's a market for what you're doing. If you're creating something technology like an app or a service or a product, often to have someone else in the market is very, very good. It doesn't mean that there's very rarely, apart from big companies, monopolies. So there's always the ability to be able to come in, do your service and not necessarily take money away from someone else, because there's a market and people want that and there's a desire for that. So I would say that if you're in business or you're an entrepreneur, look at your competitors, understand your competitors, and maybe provide something different. You can pivot and you can change the way that you don't need to copy anyone. I would say copying is not a great idea, but being able to look at your competitors and then be able to understand what you can add more value with is a really, really positive thing. So, but in business, often this win-win scenario should be thought of. you winning because you've got a client, and the client wins because they're getting a great service, a great product that they are maybe accelerating their business, maybe they're getting traction, whether they're getting eyeballs. So I would say go out there and think of life in business more as win-win scenarios rather than a winner and a loser as in sport. Right. Just the last thing, thank you so much for your downloads, for your subscriptions, for your sharing. I really appreciate it. I really, really thank you for all of the support that you've given me for so long. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll speak to you soon.